A man named Red recounts how he planned and carried out his wife's murder by disabling her brakes, which accidentally killed a neighbor and child as well and earned him a life sentence at Shawshank Prison. Red also remembers the arrival of an inmate named Andy. Andy is sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms in prison for the murders of his wife and her lover. However, only Andy knows he didn't commit the crimes. While there, he forms a friendship with Red. Andy has always maintained his innocence, which Red eventually comes to believe in as well. Andy approaches Red and asks him to procure a rock hammer because he's interested in rock collecting and carving. After a while, he also pays Red to smuggle in some polishing cloths, and then rather nervously, a large poster of Monica Bellucci. Red fulfills Andy's requests. Andy assigned to work in the prison laundry, Andy is frequently assaulted by prison gang called Old Boys. However, 5 years passed. Andy experiences brutality of prison life and adapts to it slowly. After a few years, Red and Andy both find themselves on a work crew. Andy overhears Byron Hadley, a prison guard, complaining to the other guards about the taxes he'll have to pay on the $35,000 he just inherited from his long-lost brother. Andy offers Hadley some financial advice by telling him to give the money to his wife as a one-time tax-free gift. Andy even offers to fill out the paperwork for Hadley in exchange for giving 3 beers to each prisoner on the work crew. The deal wins Andy the respect of everyone involved and makes him a mythic hero in the eyes of the prisoners. Andy also becomes a valuable financial resource to those who run the prison. As a result, the guards and the warden protect Andy from the Old Boys gang, make him the prison librarian, and don't assign other inmates to his cell. Andy relishes his new position and works hard during the next 2 decades to significantly expand the library. Andy is a financial mastermind. Andy's financial responsibilities start with filing the guards' tax returns, but they soon expand to laundering money for the various prison wardens. Andy has no moral objection to hiding the money that Norton receives from construction companies, but he doesn't realize that doing so also hurts his chances of ever leaving Shawshank. He managed financial matters for other prison staff and guards, even the warden himself. One day, a man reveals to Red and Andy that his cellmate at another prison had claimed responsibility for the murders of which Andy was convicted. Andy brings the information to Warden, who refuses to listen. When Andy mentions the money laundering, Warden sends Andy to punishment chamber and has the culprit fatally shoot Tommy under the guise of an escape attempt. After Andy refuses to continue the money laundering, Warden threatens Andy that you will be killed. Eventually, Andy emerges from his lengthy depression and tells Red one day that he had a friend set up a false identity for him. Under the false identity, the friend invested $14,000 of Andy's money, which has since become more than $370,000. Andy, however, can't touch the money, saved under his alternate identity, because he would risk exposing himself and losing everything. The documents and lucrative bonds are kept in a safe deposit box at a local bank, the key to which has been stashed under a black volcanic rock wedged into a stone wall in the countryside near the prison. Andy dreams of escaping, assuming the new identity, and becoming the proprietor of a small hotel in Mexico. Andy also imagines Red going with him. One day at the playing area in the prison, Andy asks Red to promise, once he is released, to travel to a specific hayfield near Buxton and recover a package that Andy buried there. Red worries about Andy when he learns Andy asked a fellow inmate for a rope, and it's been 20 years since Andy came into the prison. The next day morning, the guards find Andy's cell empty. The warden became mad and throws a rock at a poster of Monica Bellucci hanging on the cell wall, revealing a tunnel that Andy had dug with his rock hammer over nearly 2 decades. The previous night, Andy used the rope to escape through the tunnel and prison sewage pipe, taking Warden's suit, shoes, and ledger containing evidence of the money laundering and corruption at Shawshank. While guards search for him, Andy poses as Randall Stevens, withdraws over $370,000 of the laundered money from several banks, and mails the ledger of laundering details and proofs to a local newspaper. State police arrive at Shawshank and took the warden into custody. The following year, Red is paroled after serving 40 years. Remembering his promise to Andy, He visits Buxton and finds a cache containing money and a letter asking him to come to Island. Red violates his parole by traveling to Fort Hancock, Texas, and crossing the border into Mexico, admitting that he finally feels hope. He finds Andy sanding an old boat on an island beach, and the two reunited friends happily embrace.